At this time, I will call to order the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting for September 23rd, 2024. Trustees, questions, comments, or action on the consent docket?
Motion to approve consent docket.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the consent docket is approved. Item 5 is general orders. We have consideration of a task order agreement with Black & Veatch for engineering services for our water and sewer capital projects. David Barth's going to tell us more about that.
Yes, good evening, trustees. David Barth with engineering. Whoops. Yeah, I'm here tonight to discuss a new project with you that will provide engineering services for the fiscal year 2025 package of water and wastewater projects. Before I get into it, I just want to say that a lot of work went into this over the late spring, early summer. We sent consultants requests for letters of interest. We then shortlisted and sent out requests for proposals, shortlisted, interviewed, and we ended up selecting Black & Veatch, who we're excited to partner with again on this very important project for the city of Stillwater. I also wanted to add that Lars Ostervold is here this evening in the audience, there in the light blue shirt. Lars is the project director for this project with Black & Veatch. I know that Lars has been involved with the city for a long time, longer than I've been here. He was instrumental in leading the Water 2040 program with, at that time, CH2M Hill that was later acquired by Jacobs. And so the water, most of you are familiar with Water 2040 and how big that was to our water program here. But anyway, Lars was the leader of that for that effort. And so anyway, we're excited to continue working with him. So before I get started on this cover slide, I always like showing photos of what's happening. And this left photo is actually ongoing at the water treatment plant. We're building a new finished water pump station that you guys authorized. So it's over $25 million. And that big yellow pipe there is the suction header that will bring water from our clear wells into the finished water pump station and into those pumps. And so that's out at the water treatment plant. You can kind of see the administration building there in the background. This right photo is I actually selected this photo because it's applicable to one of the projects tonight. This was actually part of our it was part of one of our Water 2040 projects. It's the east side of Sanger Road, and you can kind of see the entrance to Deer Crossing there on the right. So this water line was actually installed by a bore. It's 1,300 feet long, and it extends north of 32nd up along the east side of Sanger Road. And that was installed about 6 years ago. So my next several slides are just introductions to the projects that are part of this FY 2025 package. So the first project is the Sanger Road Waterline Project, and if you see those two light blue lines there, there's a gap in the middle, which is that 1,300-foot water line I just showed you. So we're not recommending to replace that. But the water line that is on the north and south ends of that new water line has been very problematic this year and also in the past. Some of you have probably had people call and maybe complain about water outages from Woodland Trails, Deer Crossing, Sanger Ridge. We've had several leaks along that stretch, and so we need to replace that water line. And that is there again on the east side of Sanger Road, either side of 32nd Avenue. The next project that's in this package is the Hargis Road Right Drive Waterline Replacement Project. So I guess that the water line that we have right now that is along Hargis Road, again, there's been several leaks. It's been very problematic. Along Right Drive, which is to the north of Airport Road there, you don't see it, but there's a water line that's also been very problematic and created issues. And so as we, build new infrastructure at the airport, we want to make sure and have a very reliable water source for the terminal and for the people that are flying in and out of the airport, as well as those neighborhoods that are served by this water line. So the alignment that we're going to, the new water line alignment will be finalized as the terminal project progresses, the contractor for the terminal project will be building a portion of the water line in front of that new terminal. And so this project will connect on either end of that and will extend the water line over to Washington and then south to Lakeview. The next project in the package is the Northeast Zone transmission water line replacement. So this, if you see Yost Road up there, just to the north of that, off the screen would be our water treatment plant. And so we've got a large transmission line that is our single feed into the Northeast Zone. So this takes water down, and then it turns east and goes down Burris Road over to the North Perkins Tower. So anytime we have to do maintenance on the Northeast Zone lines, the transmission lines, that area is very sensitive to outages. And so we've got some very high ground, and customers will lose their water service pretty quickly. So this water line's on the list because it's been problematic. I guess a common theme on these water lines is that they're metal, they're ductile iron, or in some places cast iron. And so we've got corrosive soils in the area, and so they've just chewed away at our pipe. And so as we replace these, we're going back with materials that are not corrosive. Where you're looking at fiberglass pipe, we're using PVC, polyethylene. We try to avoid using ductile iron or steel unless there's a really good cause to do so, and then we're installing cathodic protection to protect it. So this is a mile of water line along that stretch there. This will be an interesting project because we're going to have to work with the Turnpike Authority, as that's the entrance to the Cimarron Turnpike right there. The next project in this list is to rehabilitate some of our water storage tanks, and this is just a sampling of your drinking water storage that we have in town. Whether it's the Stallard tank, Manning tank, Washington tank, the Clearwell. That left one is the school tower that's out on Yost Road. And so these tanks were all evaluated in 2016 by another consultant, and they put together a report, and we've got lots of needs. We need new coatings, safety and access equipment, mixing. There are pumps that need attention, valves, that sort of thing. So we'll be going through, and Black & Veatch will help us come up with a project to do all of that work.
Do we get to do external logo replacement on these too?
I hadn't thought about that, but yes, we probably need to get rid of, what does that say, make Stillwater run?
Those
something?
are just somewhat dated logos and
Yeah.
signs on those.
But yeah, I agree. We do need new logos.
Probably have better places to spend our money, but just throwing it out there.
I'm sure Lars is already drafting an amendment right now. So,
While somebody's up there with paint, maybe we can just.
Yeah. The next project is the Northeast Pressure Zone Storage Project. So just a couple of slides ago, I was mentioning that water line that extends from the water treatment plant down to Burris Road is our single feed into the Northeast Zone. And so this project is helpful for a lot of reasons. It's going to improve water quality, but also provide redundancy to that Northeast Pressure Zone. So we're going to take the Manning tank and we're going to convert it to a storage tank for the Northeast Zone. Currently it's on the Central Zone, and then we will add a pump station and some piping, and we'll be able to feed the Northeast Zone with Central Zone water. So that's going to help in lots of situations. And Black & Veatch identified this project during their water quality study. That's why their logo is already on this image. We do have two wastewater projects that are part of this package. The Quail Ridge Lift Station, which is probably most people have never seen it. It's on private property. There's an easement to it, but anyway, it is at the very end of the Quail Ridge, south end of the Quail Ridge addition, and it needs some serious attention. And so we're going to get in there, and it probably needs to be replaced, but we'll have Black & Veatch look and see. The right image there is one of the pumps that's down there in that can. Then there's the Woodland Trails Lift Station. The Woodland Trails Lift Station is really only about 20 years old, but the pumps really struggle to serve the wastewater needs for that development, and so we're going to get in there and look. I'm hopeful that everything else is in really good shape in terms of the wet well and the other components there that are structural, just because it's not that old, whereas the Quail Ridge lift station is probably twice that old. But the Woodland Trails lift station does need some attention, so that's why it's on this list of projects. So, like was mentioned in the agenda, it's a task order agreement that we're asking you to approve tonight. And so funding for task orders 1 and 2 will come from the water and sewer funds. Task order 1 is the linear projects. Task order 2 is the water and wastewater facilities projects. And then one of the other things that we identified in the really, what kind of started this was not only to have the projects for this first year, but we wanted our consultant to help us identify a package, scenarios and packages for how we complete the projects over the next 5 years in our CIP or capital improvement plan. And so we'll be coming back to you very soon with a third task order to ask Black & Veatch to come up with that execution plan to package those based on our available funding, whether it be loans or our rate structure. And then, what's the best, how are we going to get the best price for the city and the best overall product. This last picture is there on the left. That is the new recovered water pump station that's being built right now just west of the lagoons at the water treatment plant. So you can see they've tied all the steel, and there's the 3 blockouts for some piping that will come into that. And that's and then ready to form up the exterior walls to pour that. So that's the wet well. Excuse me. My allergies have been brutal in the last 10 days. So anyway, that's what's going on right now out at the water treatment plant on the west side. So I wanted to share that picture. So with that, do you all have any questions on the engineering services project that we're asking you to approve tonight before I recommend a motion?
Trustees?
David, thank you so much for the presentation. I know we kind of laugh a little bit that including pictures, but it is so very helpful to see all of the important infrastructure that goes into our water system and for our community to be able to see that, especially when we have so much need there. And it is really also, even though I don't know exactly what I'm looking at when I look at it, it's great to hear you say this is progress and that things are happening. And so we appreciate everything that staff has done to make all of that happen. And it's just a very well done presentation to kind of lay out what's happening this next year.
Thank you.
What's your recommendation for us?
Sure. Staff recommends a motion to approve the task order agreement with Black & Veatch for engineering services and authorize the general manager to execute the agreement, to authorize expenditures associated with task orders 1 and 2 and authorize the general manager to execute each, and to approve the budget amendment appropriating $4,256,476 for the initial 2 task orders and a 10% contingency.
Thank you, David. Trustees?
Motion to accept staff recommendations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the staff's recommendation is approved. Thank you, David. Just to echo what the Vice Mayor said, I mean, there's so much that has to get done to keep all the water flowing around here. And, we talk about transmission line, we talk about all the other big projects coming from Call Lake, but there's so many of these little pieces around town, and we're very appreciative that you guys are keeping up with all the different needs that we have. Any reports from the officers of the board? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn SUA. Please vote. The vote of 4-0, Stillwater Utilities Authority is adjourned, and that concludes our meetings for the evening.